I think one of the coolest things about ministry, especially the more I'm in it, is worship live with live music is way better than a YouTube video. My first ministry, we did worship with a YouTube video. And I'll be honest, it's nothing like having actual musicians. So guys, thank you so much for having a heart of service and being able to play. Like, you guys just are awesome. So in case we haven't met, my name is Jordan Halstead. I'm the new youth pastor here. I've been here 3 Wednesdays. I have been called here, and it has been an amazing ride to see how you guys have started to love on me, and you guys ask about Katie and the boys, and super excited to be here. But in case we haven't met, because I see a few new faces every week, I'm Jordan. I'm excited to be here. And so tonight we're going to be continuing in our series, Conversations with God. It's a series about asking some hard questions and focusing on what maybe we don't want to ask out loud. It's those questions that we're struggling with a little bit. You know, the first week we talked about, God, are you there? A question that we've all asked. To some extent, to some degree, we've asked, God, where are you? Are you even here? In this moment, are you with me? We've asked those questions. Last week, we started asking, why do bad things happen to good people? And how we have to reframe those questions because it's a negative mindset. And how we have to look at things and say, it's not about are bad things happening to good people, but Lord, how can this bad thing change the way that I look good on the world? How can I walk with you through those moments? Hard questions, but good questions to ask in our faith journey. Tonight, however, we're going to get a little bit more personal. We're going to be talking about fear and anxiety. And some of you might be a little bit like, this is going to be a little uncomfortable because I deal with it. I'm telling you right now, you're not the only one. I struggle with anxiety and depression. It is one of those moments that, as a pastor, it caught me off guard that the word depression is something that really came to me. And they're labeling me with, Jordan, you're depressed. When I was in Oklahoma City, there were a lot of opportunities that I took. Let's do it overnight, or let's do this and this and this. And I went so hard for a moment in a season in my life that I was doing so much that I was no longer relying on God for his guidance, but I was trying to take on the world and my ministry with my guidance. And I stopped looking for God to fix the problems. And I was like, okay, how can I fix it? How can I look at a moment and do this? And it started to remove me from God in a way that I started to get depressed in it. It was hard. And to be honest, I grew a lot having to recenter and refocus myself. But understanding that, Jordan, you struggle with anxiety. Jordan, you are someone who struggles with depression. Knowing is half the battle. So now what do we do going forward? Before we go into the Word tonight to find the answers to the question, what does the Bible say about fear and anxiety? We need to first look at what the impact of this question really has on our lives. According to the National Institute of Mental Health, I love looking at statistics because it helps us understand when we're trying to look at things. Approximately 31.9% of adolescents between the ages of 13 and 18 experience an anxiety disorder. Guys, that's you. That means that roughly 1 in 3 teenagers struggle with anxiety. If you want to hit at 31.9%, 1.1% more, and you're at 33%. That comes out to 1 in 3 people. If we have 30 people here tonight, that means that 10 of us are struggling with it. That means that you are not alone in your fight. That means that you are not the only one going through that. So take heart to that, because the enemy wants you to understand that you're alone. You are the only person who's feeling this way. Guys, feelings are on the inside. We don't all see each other's feelings. We don't know what each other's going through. I like to pick on Beth because I've known Beth for a long time, so I'm picking on Beth with this. But if Beth goes in and she's like, I'm struggling with something, and she doesn't vocalize it, she doesn't know that maybe I'm going through the same thing. Maybe she doesn't know that Jordan is going through the same thought process, the same feeling of whatever it is,
because we're not vocalizing it. The emotions, the feelings are on the inside. And I can't read you guys. I can't be like, man, what's going on in Cody's life? What's going on in Riley's life and Owen's life? What is Jonah thinking? I can't get into your guys' minds. We have to open up about this. And the world is telling us, shove it down, beat your feelings. My dad used to say this all the time. I don't cry because I'm a man. I'll tell you right now, one of the most healing things to do is to shed tears. There's a reason that there is a scripture in the Bible that says Jesus wept. It teaches us that while Jesus walked a mile in a lifetime in our shoes, he also says it's okay to cry. There is healing in crying. It's okay for you to go through those moments. And when you're feeling the weight, when you feel tense and you're anxious in those moments that you're like, I can't even move. It's the enemy trying to attack you because he knows that the Lord is with you. And he's trying to distract you so your eyes aren't on Christ. The Oxford Dictionary defines anxiety as a feeling of worry, nervousness, or unease, typically about an imminent event or something with an uncertain outcome. Okay, show of hands real fast. How many of you guys know what the illness shingles is? Is that an old person thing or a young person thing? Typically it's an older. I was 28 and I had shingles because I allowed stress and anxiety to ruin my moment. To put so much on myself, I took my eyes off the prize that is Jesus Christ. And I had a strip of shingles right here, and I still feel it to this day, where there's moments where my stress starts to get at me, and I promise you it's that reminder that God's like, hey, focus on me. I can't even begin to tell you guys about how anxiety has created so many unnecessary struggles. And me giving you guys these looks into my life, I hope that helps you understand that you're not alone through it. It got in my way during schoolwork growing up. I struggled with performing during tests. I had a lot of test anxiety because it was almost crippling for me. And some of you guys probably relate to that in some degree, whether it's social anxiety or it's test anxiety or just overall anxiety. You guys understand that. And I know that some of you guys, if not all of you, have faced this to some degree. It may not be the 1 in 3, but to some degree we faced anxiety trying out for a new sport. We've got a big test coming up, graduation, preparing for college. You're going to get your license. You're going and you've got a new youth pastor coming. Are we going to like this guy? I don't know. And you go through and you've got some of those anxieties that start to play in. The list goes on and on. And even after we have moments of highs and we're on cloud 9, these beautiful moments, sometimes the anxiety starts to creep in. And you're like, wait, time out. Was this really a high? And then you hit those low points. And you're like, but I was just there. Why did I drop off? Why am I not at this moment anymore? So tonight we're going to be back in the Old Testament because that's really where we find the prophet Elijah. He comes off this really big high in chapter 18 of 1 Kings. There's this beautiful story. It's one of my absolute favorites. It's Elijah and the prophets of Baal. And if you guys know this story, what's really cool about it is Elijah smack talks a lot. Very much like me on the basketball court with Owen, okay? Like, listen, it's the way it is, Owen. But realistically, Elijah walks in. He's one of the most well-known prophets in the Old Testament. And he walks in and he believes that he is the only prophet of God in that time frame. And he's rolling up and he says, okay, listen, there's this little g God that people are worshiping. There are a ton of prophets who are trying to overrun Israel, and we're going through this big hard moment. But we're gonna go WWE style. We're gonna throw down, and it's not a show, not in this. It's not choreographed or anything like that. Like, sorry guys, the WWE is fake. Just want you to know. So the girls are like, no, so when you look at some of those things, it's fake. This is not fake. This is a moment where he calls out the prophets and he says, listen, we're going to build 2 altars. You're going to meet me on this mountain. That's where the stage is. and we're going to go build these 2 altars. And they go in and they say, all right, whoever can pray and get their God to react, that is the true God. Okay, we're gonna lay it out. This is where it comes down to. Me versus hundreds of prophets, okay? So he's like, all right, build your altar, cut the bull, put it up there as the sacrifice, and then pray. And so they do that. Nothing happens because it's a little g God. It's not the one true living God. As Christians, as the hindsight 2020, we understand, like, that's not who God is. Baal is not a true God. And so they go in and they're like, okay, praying, we're clearly not praying well enough. All right, we're going to start shouting our prayers. And so they get louder and louder. And then they're like, clearly that's not working. Oh, let's start doing blood sacrifice. So they start cutting themselves to offer blood. It is this awful, gory mess. And Elijah is sitting there and he's like taunting them. And he says, maybe he can't hear you. Maybe he's busy. And if you know the translation behind it, he's saying, maybe your God is using the bathroom. Maybe you're not really that important to him, and he's taking a dump right now. That's what he's telling them. He's antagonizing them. And I think it's so funny because I would talk that kind of smack too. I do to Owen all the time. And so with that, going in and looking at this moment, Elijah is starting to hit this high point. Things are going right because clearly Baal is not going to answer. So then he gets a little bit more cocky. And he says, listen, you've had your time. It's now my time. Go build my altar for me. Cut the bull. Lay it all out. And build or dig out a trench around it. And they're like, dig a trench? Why? Go throw water in it. And then go take extra water and saturate all the wood. And cover the bull in water. Make it so sopping wet that fire should not catch it. Literally defying physics in this moment, okay? And Elijah comes in and he says, God, have your will and your way. Show them who you are. And he steps back and fire falls from heaven. And it eats up his whole offering, evaporates all the water in this moat, and ends up taking out their offering as well. Okay, imagine the high that Elijah's got to be on, right? We've had maybe not like that kind of high, but that moment of, I passed my driver's test. I passed the big test that I'm going through. Do you guys still have OGTs? Is that still the Ohio graduation test? I know they changed that in the past few years. So anyways, when I had to do an OGT, like it was a week-long testing where every single subject had to be touched in a week. And it was the worst thing for me. But I passed them, and I was excited. It was my moment that I'm like, for the next, because it was sophomore year that I had to take it. So junior year and senior year, I got to sleep in while all the sophomores and freshmen had to go to school. And I got to come in at lunch. So like I got to sleep half the morning. It was awesome. And sometimes we're in those moments that we get to celebrate those highs. But this is what happens after. Elijah goes in and he says, all right, it's time to clean house here. The Israelites go get them. They kill all the prophets of Baal. And he is just like, let's do this. And then comes in Jezebel. And if you know Jezebel, she's an evil woman. There's a reason that we still, to this day, say there's a spirit of Jezebel upon that person. There's a reason that we talk about people poorly in that way. She immediately says, by tomorrow, you will be just like the men that you just killed. I'm coming for you. And it's a hard moment. So 1 Kings 19 and 2 through 3. Then Jezebel sent a messenger to Elijah saying, so may the gods do to me and more also, if I do not make your life as the life of one of them by this time tomorrow. She's talking about the men that he just killed. Then he was afraid. Remember that. He was afraid. And he arose and ran for his life and came to Beersheba, which belongs to Judah, and left his servant there. You ever been there? Where you're on this mountain, things are going great, and then you're finding yourself at one of your lowest points. It doesn't even have to be a high point in your life. Those low moments where you're like, everything was going well, and then you're finding yourself in a valley. And there's those hard moments. You're not alone in that. Jezebel sent Elijah this message of, be ready because I'm coming for you. Be ready because your life is about to end. And let my life be destroyed if I don't get you by tomorrow. Let the gods be ever so severe to me if I don't get you by tomorrow. She's not worshiping the one true God. She is an evil woman. And this is something that we can relate to, is just being afraid. Having moments where we are fearful and we have anxiety, and these moments that we're struggling with. The anxiety that builds up within us, and it creates moments of doubt. Elijah had just stood up for the Lord. And God was on his side. But then the enemy came and he tried to distract Elijah. Elijah's eyes were no longer focused on God. He got him to look even 2 degrees off. He just shifted the focus just enough that instead of celebrating in the win that God just gave him and understanding that God has his back, he took his eyes off of God for a moment. There was a threat looming over his head. And it may not be a death threat looming over your head tonight, but the enemy is trying to sow seeds of deceit and doubt into your mind. He is always trying to shift your focus off of Christ to focus on things of this world, the temporary stuff. 1 Kings 19:4-6. But he himself went a day's journey into the wilderness and came and sat under a broom tree. And he asked that he might die. He asked God, please, just let me die. Saying, it is enough now, O Lord, take away my life, for I am no better than my fathers. And he lay down and slept under the broom tree. And behold, an angel touched him and said to him, arise and eat. He looked, and behold, there was at his head a cake baked on hot stones and a jar of water. And he ate and drank and lay down again. When you hit those high moments, there's this rush, this thrill, the excitement, and it takes a lot out of you. Playing basketball, we all kind of are a little worn out. We're a little bit more quiet right now and focused because it took a lot out of us because we gave it our all, right? Girls, you're watching all of us get super sweaty, right? And you're all laughing at us and you're like, they're going to be super tired tonight. We are. And there's these moments, it takes the energy out of us, these high moments for us. Your whole body goes into it and we get tired. Our guards come down. And that's where Elijah's at. The enemy is taking advantage of that moment. His guard is down, and the enemy says, "Oh, I'm getting in there. It's not going to be this is going to be an easy fight. I'm going to win this thing." Elijah ends up sitting under a tree and just asks, "God, can you end it now? I'm tired. I'm no better than my fathers." He just whooped the prophets of Baal, and he's tired. My heart breaks because I know that some of you tonight in this room have struggled with feeling worthless. Some of you guys have been in those moments where you struggle to see yourself as God has created you to be. To struggle to see the image of God in you. God created you in his own image. We talked about that when I came out and visited back in April. And I hate that you guys don't see it. But God created you in his image. Instead, you guys look in the mirror and you see yourself through the eyes of the enemy. I'm not good. This is a lot. I can't do this. I'm worthless. And unfortunately, some of you guys have struggled with the fear that this world would be better off without you. And I would be lying to tell you if I didn't struggle with that at some points in my life as well. It's a thought that the enemy has put into your head, and it's hard. There's anxiety and there's fear and oh my gosh, like, is this place going to be better without me? And I want you to know right now, that is a lie from Satan himself. You are here for a reason. We love you. I need you all to look at me right now. I love you. There is not a person in here that I wouldn't bend backwards and break the earth for. You are my people. I will do whatever I can to make sure that you are always pointed towards Christ. I do not want you falling to the lies of the enemy, and I cannot express to you how hard it is to know that you guys are struggling with that. Your generation is being attacked more than ever. And I hate that. But on the flip side, take heart in Jesus Christ, because he has overcome the world. Your anxieties, cast them on the Lord. He is not too small or too big. He is ready and excited to meet with you and to have that moment. These hard moments that you go through, we're here for you. We want you to understand that Jesus is there to take that. And I need you to understand this. These times where you're struggling, it's just a moment. It's not the end. In this passage, we see how Elijah is struggling. And under the tree, he's calling out to God, ready to give up. God, just end it. But what happened next? He falls asleep. And an angel comes and wakes him up, and he gives him a cake and a jug of water. And he says, arise and eat. And then Elijah ends up falling back asleep. My wife always tells me, she's like, this is one of the coolest stories because it reminds us that sometimes all we need is a nap and a snack. There is something very, very powerful about having a nap. Any nappers in here? Anybody? My people. That's what I'm talking about. Listen, taking a nap is something that just rejuvenates. Now, sometimes it depending on when you take your nap, it might mess with your sleep cycle, but realistically, it helps energize you. You need to rest and refuel, because the enemy will come at you at your weakest points. And if you are rested and refueled, he can't come near you. And that goes with your spirit and your body. There's a reason for this. Our body requires that refueling and that rest. And we look at Genesis chapter 2. It says, thus the heavens and the earth were finished, and all the host of them. And on the seventh day, God finished his work that he had done, and he rested. Okay? Rested on the seventh day from all his work that he had done. So God blessed the seventh day and made it holy, because on it, God rested from all his work that he had done in creation. One of the problems that we face is that our anxiety and depression is because we're not resting. We're on the move all the time. And I'm not knocking that you guys are involved in sports or in clubs or in band, all my band people. Listen, I get it. Listen, I truly understand. There were moments in my life I was running like a chicken with my head cut off. But there's time for rest. There's moments that you need to step back and realize you can't keep going. You have to rest. This article published by UC Berkeley, author Matt Walker wrote this, and we identified a new function of deep sleep, one that decreases anxiety overnight by reorganizing connections in the brain. Imagine that. The God who created everything allows you to recalibrate, to refocus by sleeping, by resting. He also goes on to say that deep sleep seems to be a natural, I'm going to mess that word up, analoxic? Yeah, see right there, that's the word. An anxiety inhibitor. So long as we get it each and every night. I know some of you guys are probably late night people. You like playing games, you like hanging out, staying up late. I get it. But there's a moment where we need to sit back and realize that God created us in a way that as long as we're continually getting the rest we need, our anxiety and our depression and that stuff will start to go away. Because we're doing what God created us to do and not fighting him. God shows us the importance of rest and how it naturally decreases anxiety. And Elijah's story shows us that he was anxious. That we face anxiety. And rightfully so. I mean, I don't know about you guys, but I would be a little nervous if a queen says, all right, I'm going to get your head. You're going to be dead tomorrow. She's got the resources. This is a woman who's going to be able to say, all right, all of my servants, all of my warriors, all of my spies, everyone, you're going for that guy. Unlimited resources to come after him. It's going to cause a little anxiety. And if it didn't, I'd be a little worried about the guy. Might be a little crazy. But the passage continues. And the angel of the Lord came again a second time and touched him and said, arise and eat, for the journey is too great for you. And he arose and ate and drank and went in the strength of that food 40 days and 40 nights to Horeb, the mount of God. When we trust in the Lord and fully submit and surrender to him, we're going to be taken care of. The Lord does not want to see you fail. The Lord is there for you. He is the mighty counselor. He's going to stand with you. He's going to help you grow. And he wants to help you get past this anxiety and fear and depression, the things that we face as Christians, as humans. He wants to walk with us. And if you walked in tonight with those fears and anxieties, if you've got all this built up, I need you to hear this. Jeremiah 29:11. For I know the plans that I have for you, declares the Lord. Plans for welfare and not for evil, to give you a future and a hope. Guys, does that say anything about I want my people to be hurt? I want them to fear things? No, it says I want the good stuff. I want them to not have to worry about it, not for evil, to give us a future and hope. Things that fight anxiety, the things that are the exact opposite of what we're facing, the Lord wants for you. So cast your fears and anxiety on the Lord. You don't have to keep them. You can give them to him. And I'll wrap up tonight. I'm going to ask that Ryan and the team come back up. But the final passage of Scripture is found in Philippians 4:4-7. Rejoice in the Lord always. Again, I will say rejoice. Let your reasonableness be known to everyone. The Lord is at hand. Do not be anxious about anything, but in everything by prayer and supplication with thanksgiving, let your requests be made known to God. And the peace of God, which surpasses all understanding, will guard your hearts and your mind in Christ Jesus. Let this be Jesus' battle. Don't take this one on your own. Cast it to the Lord. Sit there. Let the Lord handle it. Don't be anxious about it. Be in prayer. Give it to Christ. Give it to God. So I'm going to ask that the worship team come back up. And, my adults, we're gonna place them around the room. And if tonight you are struggling with anxiety, I'm not asking for you guys to go in and go crazy and have to share your whole life story. But please, see one of us. We want to pray with you. We are here for you. We absolutely love you guys. And if you need prayer over something specific, we've got adults all across the room ready to pray with you before we hit breakouts. But guys, you're not alone. We love you and we're here for you. Please stand for worship.